Hi, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. I hope you can guess where I am because it's in the title. I'm here to see Falcon Heavy fly. This is SpaceX's Falcon Heavy, the second launch, and I couldn't be more excited. We had a really close opportunity yesterday. Unfortunately, the upper level winds were really bad. Today, the upper level winds are great. So we are looking at an on-time launch at the beginning of their window. So I think we got that countdown clock up there. It's about an hour and 7 minutes or so until T-0. And we have not heard any word of anything going wrong so far. Everything looks to be going fantastic. I haven't seen any rumors of them tracking any issues or anything. So that being said, I think we need to start off this live stream. I do want to do an official report. Yes, I can confirm the pointy end is up, the flamey end is down. So that is official, you heard it here first. Even though yesterday the same was true, we do need to confirm that with each launch attempt because the last thing we want is for the vehicle to be in the wrong orientation. So you're welcome. I don't know what you'd do without me. The next thing I want to do, though, is I want to go through our pre-launch preview. And this is going to be a little bit outdated because I had a little bit different system here. So the date on this is wrong, but everything else is right. So we're going to start off. Today is April 11th, 2019. And this is the Falcon Heavy launch taking off at 22:35 UTC. Which is 6:35 Eastern time here because this is taking off from Florida. We'll get to that in a second. This is the Arabsat 6A, which is a communication satellite. The launch provider is SpaceX. The customer is Arabsat. The rocket, like I said at the beginning, is a Falcon Heavy Block 5. And what that means, this is special. This is actually basically a brand new vehicle. It's significantly different than the Falcon Heavy that launched just over a year ago from the same location. So you probably all remember that historic launch with the Roadster, the Tesla Roadster. It might look identical to that, but now it's using the Block 5 architecture, which they started flying in the middle of 2018. And have flown a bunch now, but it is a significantly upgraded and finalized version of the Falcon 9. So this is a Block 5 version of the Falcon Heavy. So the center core of this is a brand new core since it's a new version, and the serial number on it is 1055.1. .1 means it's the first flight, so brand new. The side boosters are 1052.1 and 1053.1. So again, .1 meaning it's their first time flying. This is taking off from historic Launch Complex 39A, or LC-39A. And like I always like to remind you, LC, if you just see LC, Launch Complex, that means it's taking off from Kennedy Space Center. But if it's SLC, Slick 40, like SpaceX's other pad, or Slick 41 or 37, like where ULA takes off from, those are actually at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. So Space Launch Complex 40, that would be Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, and an LC-40, that is out here at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. So slightly, I mean, literally, I can see them right here and here. There's just a small piece of water in between the two, but yeah, nevertheless, that's what it is. This is about 6,000 kilograms that they're taking out to geostationary transfer orbit. And we'll talk about that here in a second, but let's keep going for now. They are attempting to recover the side boosters right here, literally 7 kilometers, about 4 miles from where I am, a little bit less than that even, from right where I'm standing. The side boosters are going to land, which is going to be insane. I cannot wait. Like that is, yes, that is definitely what makes this launch extra exciting. Is not only do we get a return to launch site landing with a rocket booster that's 15 stories tall, we get 2 of them at the same time. So, woo, if you can't tell, I'm quite excited about that. And they will be landing at landing zone 1 and 2, which is right on the edge of the Cape. So actually, it takes off in Kennedy Space Center, and the 2 side boosters will land at Cape Canaveral, or at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. They are also attempting to recover the center core and hopefully landing it, and that'll be their furthest downrange landing ever. It's landing almost 1,000 kilometers downrange, right at 600 miles downrange. And that is the furthest by a lot. The next furthest, I think, was about 600 kilometers, about 400 miles downrange. So this is a good 50% further away, which means quite a bit faster. It's significantly different than any Falcon 9 that's ever launched. And they will be landing that on the autonomous Spaceport drone ship. Of course, I still love you. They are not attempting a fairing recovery. Mr. Steven, the fairing recovery boat, currently has no arms to catch it. But they might be fishing the fairing halves out of the sea using GoQuest and GoSearcher. Not positive about that, what will happen, but we'll see. This is the second flight of a Falcon Heavy rocket. 4th mission for SpaceX in 2019. The 36th, 37th, and 38th booster landings, if it's successful, which I honestly expect it to be successful. Yes. So, So the number one question that a lot of people have about this particular mission is why, if this satellite only weighs 6,000 kilograms or 6 tons-ish, why are they launching it on a Falcon Heavy? That's actually a pretty light payload, and the Falcon 9 has actually literally launched a payload of that size to that destination. So why Falcon Heavy? There's a couple reasons-ish, but I think the main reason is, first off, it was booked for Falcon Heavy. The customer purchased a Falcon Heavy launch a long time ago. But the other reason is this satellite has been waiting a long time to launch. And with a more powerful rocket, you can actually make up months and months and months of finalizing the destination by putting more energy into the satellite. So when a rocket takes off, of course, yes, it goes up for a little bit, but it only goes up to really get out of the atmosphere. As soon as it's beginning, actually it starts to pitch over relatively quick, and then its main job is to go 10 times faster than a bullet horizontally. So to get to space, you go up. To stay in space, you go sideways. So this thing will go, to get into low Earth orbit, you're going about 27,000 kilometers an hour, 17,500 miles an hour. And once you're there, if you want to raise your orbit, you got to speed up even more and more and more and more. And typically that takes a bigger and bigger rocket. Now the other thing you can do, because that can just get your highest point, but you can also raise your lowest point in the orbit, or the periapsis, and that will actually make it so that the payload itself, the satellite, doesn't have to spend as much time trying to raise its orbit. And that's what this Falcon Heavy is going to do. They can also match the inclination better, spend a little bit more energy out of the vehicle, out of the Falcon Heavy, compared to what would normally happen, I guess, with a Falcon 9. So the customer, the Arabsat in this case, won't have to spend nearly as much time circularizing this spacecraft. Falcon Heavy will put it into a much closer to final destination. So yeah, that's exciting. That's kind of the main reason. I'm trying to figure out here why, what else we need to talk about for you guys. We already have some questions rolling in. Joshua says, thanks for covering this event, Tim. Wish I could be there. I wish you could too, Joshua. It's honestly a gorgeous day. We have not heard any word of any scrubs or anything going wrong. Hey, is anyone going to be on the countdown net? On the phone again? You can't, it stays like quiet, I think, the whole time. It's like an automated thing. I didn't even hear the scrub last time. You didn't hear the scrub last time? Okay. Okay, sounds good. We will let you guys know when we get any information, because we are listening to the countdown net, and we'll be able to let you know when they begin fuel up and things like that. So, which actually should be beginning probably in about 15 minutes. We'll probably hear it, yeah, pretty soon. Ben, I might need to give you a new countdown thing, actually, or a new net. Let me send that to you real quick. Sorry, there's nothing better for airtime than watching someone email. That's what we're doing here. This is called Tim Dodd, the Everyday Email Guy. It's really a great program that we're running here, folks. But yeah, hopefully we'll hear really soon here if they begin fuel up. Yesterday they didn't even attempt to fuel up. That's probably why we never even heard anything on the countdown net, because they didn't even get that far along. So we'll see. All right, so Joshua, yes, hopefully this helps supplement the fact that you are not here. Colton, keep up the great work, Tim. You've been a real trooper the past month here. Yeah, I've spent too much energy on this stuff, but I also love it. So I guess it's not really too bad of a thing. So thanks, Colton. Andy, hi, thank you. SGFX, thanks for being there and bringing this to us. No problem, SGFX, thank you for saying hi. Your lawyered. Love from Sweden. What's the future for Falcon Heavy? That's a good question, actually, because a lot of people look at Falcon Heavy and say, cool, Falcon Heavy is great, but Super Heavy and Starship is coming online. That's SpaceX's upcoming vehicle, and that thing will be a beast. I mean, it's going to make this rocket, which is currently the most powerful operational rocket, it's going to make it look like a toy. It's going to be substantially taller. As a matter of fact, the whole Falcon Heavy, stacked on top of itself as it is with the fairing and everything, is actually about the same height as just the first stage of the Super Heavy. And the Super Heavy booster is 9 meters wide, and so it's almost as wide as all 3 cores of the Falcon Heavy. So yeah, nuts. Plain and simple, nutty. Sorry, Ben, let me swap you around here. Here we go. Sorry about that, Ben. We're back to the email program. I'm talking with Ben, Ben Steinman. He's producing the show back in Iowa. So everyone say hi to Ben, and thanks for running the show. If it wasn't for him, I don't know what we'd do. Who knows? So the Falcon Heavy, though, it's going to be in operation for a while. There's several contracts for Falcon Heavy. I think what we know of is they probably have at least 5 paying customers for Falcon Heavy. And that could change. There could be, who knows, there could be 10 flights of this vehicle, 20 flights before Starship actually starts flying customers' payloads, because there still is, don't forget, there's a lot of development coming in for Starship. They have a lot of work to do. Yes, Starship, in my opinion, will have no problem going online relatively soon. A lot quicker than what we'd expect for a vehicle of that complexity and that size. But that being said, it's still in the very, very beginning stages of actual flight development. Yes, the engine is very far. I mean, the engine is pretty much, as we can tell with Starhopper beginning to actually fire its engine, it's beginning to fly. It's not quite leaving the nest yet, but it is. It's starting to flap its wings a little bit. And there's still there's quite a bit more to fly. But believe it or not, they're going to be flying an orbital test flight version of that vehicle. Maybe within a year. They're already building it out there in Boca Chica, Texas. So it's coming. I mean, it's happening really quickly. But that being said, there's still a lot of customers that did pay for Falcon Heavy that will probably fly on Falcon Heavy. There will be some overlap between Falcon Heavy and Starship. And yeah, so I don't know how long of a life Falcon Heavy has. There's a reason why Elon wanted to actually cancel Falcon Heavy many times. One of the times he literally said, we're canceling Falcon Heavy because it's a lot of development. It was a lot more complicated than just putting 3 Falcon 9s together. A lot more complicated, required a lot more work. And at some point in a meeting, he just said, yeah, we're done. We're just going to cancel it. And literally, Gwen Shotwell, the president of SpaceX, she ran in. She got a text from someone saying, Elon's canceling Falcon Heavy. She apparently runs in, saves the day, and says, we can't do that. We have paying customers for this vehicle, which I just think is hilarious. So there is a manifest for the vehicle. How big and how deep that is, I don't know. What the lifespan of Falcon Heavy will be, I don't know. That's why I'm going to try to come out here whenever I can to catch this thing fly, because the 2 boosters landing together is honestly pretty spectacular. This place has a special place, at least in my heart. So, and I think a lot of people's hearts. So, yeah, thank you very, very much. And thank you, Barunda and Gregory Wilson. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Happy Hacking Video Blog. Apparently yesterday's Falcon Heavy scrub did indeed cause CRS-17 to be delayed. It is now scheduled to April 25th. That is interesting. Yeah, I didn't know if that would be the case. I could see it slipping a little bit, but yeah, that's good to know. Thank you for letting me know. And Brian, the Masters and a rocket launch, can it get any better at work? I don't know. I think a rocket launch is definitely cream to crop. Luke, amazing channel and live stream. Keep doing what you do. Well, thank you so much. And Sean, thank you. Volkert, love your channel. Greetings from the Netherlands. What do you think second stage recovery is going to happen? So this has gone back and forth a few times, Volkert. So don't forget, if last year, probably midsummer or so, Elon mentioned, hey, we might try and recover. Actually, at Falcon Heavy, he said someday we might try to recover the Falcon Heavy, the upper stage. And he said we might play around with it, I think to the surprise of most of the people at SpaceX. Later, he started saying, yeah, someday we're going to actually fly like a mini version of the BFS, at the time now Starship, to start practicing that reentry, that weird belly first, belly flopping reentry thing. But he since has said, like, you know what, screw that. We're not even going to waste the time trying to develop like a subscale version that's going to fly on Falcon 9 or Falcon Heavy. We're just going to go right for it and build the actual Starship, which we are seeing them do literally today. So, at this point, they have no, as far as second stage recovery going to happen, Starship. That's the answer. That's when second stage recovery will happen, as far as any information we know at this point. Otherwise, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I don't think it'll happen on Falcon 9 or Falcon Heavy. That being said, though, there's still probably going to be like 50 or 100 launches of Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. If they could start recovering, say, even half of those second stages, you'd think it almost could pay off the research and development. But it's hard to tell. That's not my decision to make. So, yeah. Base Bangers. What a great name. Hey, Tim, love your channel, and especially your Kerbal Space Program vids and the rest. But I was going to come watch, but all the seats were sold out and would be packed Wish I could have been there to meet. Well, Brendan, you know what? Unfortunately, I think it may have been sold out at the time, but it is empty out here today because of all the scrubs. This launch was originally scheduled for Sunday. It got pushed back to Tuesday. Then I don't know, Sunday, Monday rolls around. It got pushed back to Wednesday. Wednesday's weather delay. Now we're Thursday. So by the time you factor in all the people that flew out here and maybe gave themselves a day or two, they are now officially home. I mean, even the press side, even the amount of press here it's like half, maybe even a third that from yesterday. So unfortunately, people just, they can't always make it happen. So it's a bit of a shame, but honestly, that is kind of rockets, and it's so hard if you come from across the world or across the United States or from very far. When you travel a long time and spend a lot of money to make it out here and you don't get to see a launch, it can be very disappointing. But I tell people, if you have the option, don't book your flights and your hotels until, if specifically with a SpaceX launch, until static fire, which is only about 3 days in advance. I know that sounds insane, but trust me, it can actually be cheaper in the long run if you don't have to reschedule all your vacation and stuff like that. If you're really trying to catch a launch, don't plan your travel until they've static fired, because once they static fire and confirm everything is good to go, and you see them say we are now targeting X date, it's normally about 3 days afterwards, sometimes like 5 days after static fire. That's when you book your flight. You get there 1 day before, and you give yourself as much time after that date as possible. A week would be great. I know that that's a luxury most people can't always afford. But if you're like, this is my once in a lifetime opportunity to catch an awesome launch, do that and you will not regret it. Because here I am. I got out here Saturday. I leave on Sunday. So I'm out here for more than a week, and I'm really, really hoping to catch it, So that's kind of just what it takes sometimes. Great question, and hopefully that's good advice for people in the future. So, where are we? Jason Lee, holy cow, thank you so much. Wow. Jason, thank you. Everyone say hi and thanks to Jason. That is unbelievably generous. Thank you for all your enthusiasm. We don't know what we do without your passion and dedication. You and your team deserve all of the praise you get. Don't forget how much you're appreciated. Jason, jeez, that is very, very, very kind. Thank you. That honestly means a lot. There's long days. I was out running around all day yesterday for like 13 or 14 hours in the sun and heat, and they're long, grueling days. So that is very, very appreciated. All the press out here that work really hard. I can't tell you, it's just nuts. So yeah, honestly, thank you for that. That means a lot. And I feel like I should, while I'm saying thank you so profusely, I couldn't be doing this without my Patreon supporters. I rented an awesome live streaming backpack that has 4 cell phone modems all tied into one stream, producing 1080p from the middle of nowhere where there's normally hardly any signal. Hopefully it's super solid and super stable. I've been very impressed with that unit so far. That's stuff like that, and the dad cam that I bought that's sitting right there, some little Sony handy cam thing. I bought that just before I left because it would be a better solution than what I had before. Could run longer and simpler. And that's thanks to my Patreon supporters. They're the reason that I can do all this stuff and try to do the best job that I can to bring this to you guys. I'm excited about this stuff, and I'm just glad that a lot of people share my enthusiasm. So if you want to help support what I do, go to patreon.com/everydayastronaut. You can join our exclusive Discord channel and our exclusive subreddit and get some behind the scenes. We're going to be doing a little plug, a lot of just random B-roll that's not even going to be, it's just going to be thrown together, but you guys will see a bunch of B-roll, unedited patrons. So get ready for that. I bet the Discord's probably right now going yay because it will be rather absurd. You will see lots of dumb outtakes of terrible, you'll see all the stupid mistakes I make as I try to read things. So thank you, and thanks to all you guys for watching too. I'm very tickled. So, Harry, hi, and thank you. Nice vids, thank you. Ultimate TH, I want to watch a future Falcon Heavy from where you are now at the Causeway. How does a commoner like myself get access to that spot for future launches? Ultimate TH, here's the deal. If it's a NASA mission, if it's a Falcon Heavy NASA mission, which I don't know if there are any upcoming NASA missions currently scheduled to fly on a Falcon Heavy. But sometimes when there is a NASA mission, they actually do they sell tickets out here to the Causeway when it's a NASA mission. When it's just a SpaceX mission like this, NASA sells tickets at the Kennedy Space Center. They also sell tickets to a place called Feel the Heat. And to be honest, the Feel the Heat is actually a better place to view the launch than from where I am standing right now. It's really close. It's only like 6 kilometers away from the launch. And it's just a beautiful place. And you have air conditioning, food and bathrooms and grandstands. That is where a quote-unquote commoner can go. Anyone can buy tickets to that. They do sell out rather quick for popular launches. I would highly suggest that if you're wanting to see a launch, that is going to be your best, almost always sold or almost always available option. The next best would be lining the highway. But this causeway is not always open, so if you ever see a NASA mission that, especially, I don't know about a Falcon Heavy launch, but like a CRS mission, you would probably get that option. They often do sell, causeway tickets for CRS, which are commercial resupply missions. And there's one coming up on April 25th. So that would be your best bet. Yes. And thanks. Boris, please talk about Bearsheet. I know it looks like it didn't make it. I was watching it on my phone. So the Bearsheet lander just launched with SpaceX like less than 2 months ago. It's the first private lander that was attempting to land on the moon. It's a little tiny thing. So yeah, SpaceX on a Falcon 9 launched a lander to the moon, which is just really cool to think about. This thing was pretty small, and it was launched by, oh great, I'm totally blanking on who made it now. Oh, geez. But Israel launched it. Who made the Bearsheet lander? SpaceIL, thank you. Yes, so SpaceIL made the Bearsheet lander, but it was funded. It would have been Israel, the country that would have been the 4th country to land on the moon. Unfortunately, after 40 or 45 days or whatever of travel, it gets to its final time where it's going to deorbit itself at the moon and come to a soft landing. And at about 10,000 meters above the surface of the moon, the main engine cut out for some reason. And all of a sudden you're seeing the telemetry, it's just speeding up. And all of a sudden it gets to the point where you're like, even if that engine goes full throttle right now, I don't think it's going to land. And that, unfortunately, the last thing it read was only about 100 meters off the surface, going 134 meters per second or something, 130-ish meters per second. That is way too fast to survive. If you need a sense of reference, that would be like if you jumped out of, jumped out of an airplane and you were falling for like 14 seconds without air, right? That's because you gain 9.8 meters per second of velocity here on Earth. And if you fell for 14 seconds straight and then hit the ground, yeah, you probably wouldn't feel very good. And that's kind of how Bearsheet is feeling right now, unfortunately. But Israel and SpaceIL, guys, that was an unbelievable. Still, they were the 7th country to ever orbit the moon. So that's a huge success. They probably learned a ton. I mean, they got stinking close. They landed on the moon. Unfortunately, just not in one piece. So, but huge congratulations to the Bearsheet lander team, to SpaceIL, and to Israel for being they're still the 4th country to touch the moon with anything. So, good job. I really hope that one of these private companies makes it softly on the moon in this year. There's a couple more attempting to. So, I know Moon Express is hoping to launch relatively soon. I hope that somebody makes it. Yes. So. Let's see. Sorry. Oh, I just refreshed this and now I'm lost. Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up. Where did we go? Jeez, you guys are... Wow. Okay. So thank you, Boris. Richard, love your coverage. Upper level wind shear, a concern today? No. So today, the big thing with the upper level wind shears is they measure at, different altitudes. And if you have wind coming at different directions, yesterday there was like 70 knots in one direction, 90 knots in the other direction, and a vehicle going through that regime within seconds would basically get smacked like a sledgehammer. Today it looks like the upper level winds are going actually in the same direction, so it's smoother, and they're way lower, like 20 or 30 knots or something. So a lot lower wind speeds. So that's something that we just really don't have to worry about today. It doesn't seem like, fingers crossed. But they still do launch weather balloons about every hour-ish, and it takes about 30 minutes to get to the point where they're measuring the wind speed. So apparently, someone said, Chris Geppert from Spaceflight Now said, or I'm from NASA Spaceflight, said that he saw one take off one time from the Air Force Base, and that'd be really cool. So maybe I'll keep my eye on for one about T-minus 1 hour or T-minus 45 minutes that might appear somewhere over the horizon as they begin to try to measure winds. Who knows? We'll see. So good question. It looks like the weather is absolutely go. We're hearing no concerns of mechanical issues or anything. Everything's looking great for an on-time launch. And what are we at here? We are, like T-minus, 50 minutes or so. So, yeah, I can't wait. And thank you, Richard. Riley, Tim, how many of your kidneys would you sacrifice to see the first Starship Super Heavy launch? I know I'm going to the launch. Riley, that's a great question. I would not sacrifice any. I'll just go make it happen. Period. I mean, I don't care. You don't need to sacrifice parts of your body. I will do whatever it takes to go see it. That's all. That's my answer, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I would say no kidneys. I'll just go drive down or fly down or whatever it takes to see it. And I can't wait for that. So thank you, Riley. Good to see you in here, like always. Jason, hi. Oliver. Hey, Ollie Braun. Ollie Braun makes the models that you see in the background of all of my videos, those awesome Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy scale models that are like unbelievably detailed. That is Ollie. So yeah, thanks, Ollie. How are you? Ollie was out here at the last Falcon Heavy launch all the way from Germany. So unfortunately, you're not here, Ollie, but I hope I'm doing an okay job trying to bring it to you. Chris, hi. Tim shaved his 70s sexy chest hair. Took a bow wow. Yeah, I did. I had a nice tuft of a wind mic here that I left outside of my collar yesterday. But I decided to go one notch less 70s disco era feel today. So thanks, Chris. Herman, hi. Thank you, Tony. Okay, sounds good. I mean, hopefully we'll hear we'll hear fuel up here soon. Sorry, I just heard from Ben, my producer, that that fuel's done. No, fuel will not be done. They only begin loading fuel about T-minus 50 minutes or so. So I don't think, because this is Block 5, don't forget, so they actually do the whole quick load process. They quick load RP1 now and liquid oxygen. Liquid oxygen comes a little bit later because it has to load even faster than RP1. But I think the whole fuel up process is only about 50 minutes long. So hopefully we'll hear over the countdown net soon that everything is go. Normally the launch director also will confirm that they're good to go. I'll let you guys know if we hear that. But yeah, Tony, would they make small Starship that fit on top of a Falcon 9 or Falcon Heavy? Tony, that was exactly what we were talking about a little bit ago about second stage recovery. That was kind of the plan, was almost to build an upper stage unique to work on practicing that crazy re-entry that they're going to be doing with Starship. And unfortunately, that probably got scrapped because they're just going to build Starship instead. Why waste that development time and effort to make a subscale model when you can just make one in a field in Texas and test it there? So I think that's a pretty cool way of doing it myself. Test it as you fly it, fly it and test it. It's kind of reminiscent almost of the Soviets when they were developing stuff. They would basically just build it and fly it and see how it goes. And I think that's really cool. Yeah, that way you don't get stuck on a solution, on a problem that you might not know the solution to, period, until you actually just do it. You can sit there and engineer something over and over and over and spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hours trying to figure out a problem when it might be easier just to build something and hope and see if it maybe works and if it maybe doesn't, and learn from that. And you don't want things to blow up, but at the same time, like, you might learn a lot more if something does, or if you iterate that way. And that does seem to be a little bit more SpaceX's style. It's like, we're gonna just build stuff, we're gonna see what happens, we'll take it one step at a time. We'll build an engine, fire that engine, we'll stick it on a water tower, basically. We'll see how that goes. Then we'll see if we need some like water suppression down there. Then we'll try putting more engines on, going a little bit higher. I mean, it's just one step at a time, and it's really quick. It's like, they go, then they go, now what? And I just think that's really cool. So there will not probably be a small mini Starship for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy, unfortunately. So yeah, long answer, sorry. Guspacaragus, thank you very much. Luke Bergeron, why not? Let's donate again. Thank you, Luke. Morgan, why does SpaceX currently use care locks if Elon wants to be eco-friendly? Wouldn't hydrolocks be better for the environment? What are the advantages, disadvantages of hydrolocks, care locks, and methalox? Great question. So RP1 honestly is like, it's kind of the easiest to work with. It's not cryogenic, so you don't have to deal with, insulating tanks. You don't have to deal with there's a lot of things that you have to deal with hydrogen, and it's actually not a very good fuel for your first stage, because it's very efficient, but the engines like don't have as much thrust compared to an engine that's running RP1. That's why the first stage of the Saturn V was RP1. That's why the first stage of the Atlas V is RP1. That's rocket propellant one. It's basically kerosene, highly refined diesel, really. And then so it's good for your first stage. It's not as efficient in the upper stage. It has a pretty hard cap. You can't really make it more efficient than about 330 seconds of specific impulse, which is how you measure how efficient a rocket engine is. In the vacuum of space, it's hard to get above like that 330, 350-ish with kerosene, with RP1, as opposed to hydrogen, like what's on the Centaur upper stage, can be like 450. So a good, 20, 30% more efficient, which is that's like having 20 to 30% more range almost out of your car, right? If you have a more fuel efficient engine in the same tank, you're going to go a lot further with a more efficient engine. It's the same thing with rockets. So a hydrogen engine makes more sense, especially in the vacuum of space, where the thrust doesn't matter as much because you're not fighting against Earth's gravity, but where efficiency really matters is on that upper stage. SpaceX, I think just plain and simple for simplicity, to really, that's one of the reasons why they can undercut everyone, is they have 10 engines on this vehicle that are basically the same thing. They're all the Merlin engine, the Merlin either sea level engine, there's 9 on the first stage, or there's one big vacuum optimized Merlin engine on the upper stage. And by building the same engine and developing just one engine basically, and only having one fuel at the launch pad, they don't have to have hydrogen at the launch pad, they don't have to have anything else, just RP1 and liquid oxygen, and helium and TTEB. There's a few other things in the vehicle, but it's a lot simpler to do it that way, and that's why they chose it. Yes, it does pollute a little bit, but it's not anymore. So think about how many rockets SpaceX launched last year. What was it, almost 30, around 30? Each rocket has about as much kerosene, as much fuel as a jumbo jet. And I'll actually do a video all about the pollution of rockets, because it doesn't pollute almost any more than a normal flight on a normal jet. And how many thousands of jets are in the sky as we speak, right? So if you want to tackle pollution and worry about pollution, this is a very, 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 not even like on the scale of what is actually polluting compared to jets and compared to the rest of the transportation industry, the shipping industry, trucks. Worry about those first. Let's curb those down by 50%. That will make way bigger dent than canceling every rocket that has ever flown ever, right? I mean, it's just such a subscale amount of pollution. Yes, in this case, hydrogen would burn a lot cleaner, doesn't pollute nearly as much, but for reasons stated, they are currently using kerosene. But the cool thing about methane, which will be, that's what's powering the Starship, SpaceX's next mega rocket. The cool thing about that is it's kind of a nice middle ground in between the two. It's efficient, it's more efficient than RP1, and offers more potential thrust, or less, and more potential thrust than hydrogen. So it's a nice, it's kind of the Goldilocks of fuels. And to me, it's a little unusual that no one has used it. It's abundant, so it's really cheap. Its only byproduct is water and carbon dioxide, so it doesn't really pollute. Wait, CO2, carbon monoxide? I don't remember. The one that's not as polluting is its only other I don't know. I'm not a chemist. But basically, Methalox is like the Goldilocks. It's right in between the two. It's efficient and it's high thrust. The only problem is it's less dense than RP1, but it's more dense than hydrogen. So it's, again, just like right smack in the middle. That's the long reason for that. And let me get back into my phone here. And I have to do this like always. So yeah, great question, Morgan, thank you. Anthony, thank you. Herman, thank you. Bibi, I don't know what that means, but thank you. Kevin, hi, thank you. Micah, is it possible for the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy to launch from their own landing legs instead of using clamps? And do you think Starship, Starhoppers, or Starship or Super Heavy will have that capability? Good question, Micah. So there's a few reasons why you want a launch pad instead of a landing pad to take off from. Number one, in my opinion, is it allows you to hold the rocket down. There's clamps, so they can fire the engines, make sure everything's good, and then let go of the rocket. If you don't have clamps or any system like that, you all of a sudden might fire the engines, and only, I don't know, 2 of them, 3 of them might be out, and all of a sudden they have to shut down the engines, and now it falls back down to the ground. So less than ideal situation there. You also have to worry about folding the legs. You also have to worry about sound damage from lighting all your engines on the ground. Yes, you want a launch pad, you want a full thing. Also, the refurbishment ability of a proper launch pad is advantageous because the umbilicals get out of the way, the things that fuel up the rocket get out of the way as the rocket takes off. There's a flame trench that diverts the flame away from the vehicle and keeps the pad from needing constant refurbishment. There's a lot of reasons why you want a proper launch pad. That being said, there is something specific to Starship and Super Heavy, well, specifically Starship, is that it will land on Mars. It will land on and possibly, probably the moon. It will probably land on the moon first. And you don't have a landing pad there even. You're going to be landing, shooting, debris everywhere. So that is something, I don't know what they're going to do. They might, the very first one, I was actually just talking about this again with Chris Geppert earlier. The very first Starship lander that lands on any planetary body might not be able to be recovered. It might not be able to be reflown, because who knows, as it's landing, it might kick up so much debris that it'll put holes in the this and the that, and the first one might just have to be sacrificed to the body that it lands on. And who knows, maybe then they'll deploy a thing that builds a proper landing pad that has that's more compact and can take all the rigors of landing. Who knows? I'm not sure. That's just total random speculation from me. You're welcome. But the Super Heavy booster, 31 Raptor engines, and those Raptor engines are more than twice as powerful as the Merlin engine. So 31 of them compared to 27 on Falcon Heavy. I mean, this thing is going to be an absolute beast. It will absolutely need a proper launch pad. Like 100% it will need a launch pad to take off from, because if it just had engines above the ground, it would put a hole in the ground, a crater as it takes off, throwing debris forever, and most likely the sound bouncing off the ground, bouncing back to the rocket would probably blow the rocket up. That's the reason why we have sound suppression on launch pads. That's why you see those giant water towers. That's why you see the space shuttle with the solid rocket boosters. It had such big shock waves on STS-1, the first launch of the space shuttle. When they lit those solid rocket boosters, it actually damaged. There's a rear elevator by the engines, and it damaged it. Didn't allow it to have full mobility because of sound. Sound did that, and the shock wave of the sound. So I can't imagine what 31 Raptor engines would be like. It'd be nuts. It'd be plain bonkers. You gotta have a proper launch pad with a flame trench, with sound suppression, all that stuff. That's kind of why. So, let's see here. So we're still looking to see if we have fueling going or not. It should be kind of happening. You know what? I can't tell. What appears from here, I'm actually going to take a peek through my other camera. This is going to be you guys are now just looking at the launch pad for a second. But my other camera might be able to tell us if there's fuel flow. Oh, I can see there's condensation flowing. Fueling has begun. Ben, if you want to go ahead and mark that. Fueling has begun. So they are still on target for today. That must mean the launch director obviously said they're go for launch, otherwise it wouldn't be fueling. So fueling has begun. Yes, and I don't know for sure if we're talking LOX and RP1 yet, but definitely RP1's flowing, and the condensation probably is indicative of LOX flowing. So I'll go ahead and say we're going to check all those off. So there we go. Long answer for a few of those things. Lucas, thank you. Thomas Wolford, hopefully this helps you buy that backpack instead of renting it. Thank you. I think I will buy this backpack, this streaming unit. It is a solid stream. Hopefully you guys are getting nice, clean, crisp 1080. Go ahead, and if you're on mobile or anywhere else, manually set it to 1080. I know that's always going to be more reliable than the auto thing. Sometimes the auto will select like 360 or 480p. That's garbage. If you have good enough internet, go ahead and crank it on up to 1080. And I think this unit and this device will actually handle that. So I think it's been looking pretty good. So I haven't heard anything otherwise. So thank you, Thomas. Ryan, I remember when you broke your camera months ago and I did a live stream to see if we could fix it. That was over a year ago, Ryan. Yeah, we did a live stream. I didn't mount, I thought my camera was mounted on the tripod. I moved my tripod, and my Sony a7R II, which was at the time as a professional photographer was my primary camera. Actually, not at the time, but in the last days of my professional photography career was my main body. And it just fell to the ground and the screen broke, and I tried to fix it, and I did a terrible job because it still is not fixed. And that's why I'm using an A6500 instead of an A7R II. There you go. So thank you, Ryan, for your help. Vader Z, is identifying pointy end up a natural talent, or did you learn it? How long does it take to learn the ins and outs of identifying orientation? That is a really good question, Vader. So here's the deal. You have to have a natural talent to be able to really discern whether or not the pointy end of the rocket is up and the flamey end is down. It's something innate. It's kind of like perfect pitch. You're either born with it, or there's not really that much of a learned trait. That being said, despite that, you still need years of training. I did my master's thesis at the College of Pointy End Up, Flamey End Down in faketown.com. And that's where I learned how to do it. So I'm thinking about maybe doing like an internship or some kind of mentorship program to get others to be able to do the art of pointy end up, flamey end down. But honestly, it's a lifelong dedication thing. I would love to help and assist those that can, but maybe an apprentice someday will be able to fill in for me when I'm gone. But that'll be determined in the future. Yeah, maybe I'll make an application online or something. So thank you, Vader. Harry Hunter, hey, watching from Northern Ireland, UK, can SpaceX, thank you for saying that because I messed it up one time. Can SpaceX keep fuel in the tanks when launches are scrubbed? And do you watch Cloud Licker? Great content, by the way. Yes, I've seen a few of Cloud Licker's videos. He uses some of my music with permission, and I let anyone that's a content creator that's just producing content on their own, you're feel free to use my music. It is original. It's not going to get you flagged on YouTube. That's my gift to content creators, to help encourage them to use what I think is hopefully like not just total stock music. But if commercially, I let people, if you want to license it, hit me up and we'll talk about it. But yeah, Cloud Licker, I've seen a few of his videos, and he does a great job. Also, when launches are scrubbed, so here's the deal with the Block 5, actually not Block 5, ever since they started going full thrust, which is when they started using super chilled propellants. So even the RP1 is chilled down to the point where it's like almost turning into like a sludge, because RP1, you have to get it really cold before it turns solid ice, or it turns into a solid. And liquid oxygen, the freezing point of liquid oxygen is like something like, I don't know, minus 207 degrees Celsius or something like that, or it's 230 or something, but they chill it down to really cold. So even below the point where it turns into a liquid. So it's something, I think, if I remember right, it's like 185 or something. I don't quite remember off the top of my head what exactly they chill it down to. But that being said, it does have boil off. So if it sits out on the pad in the hot sun, it only has a certain amount of time. That's why they load the thing. Basically, they almost have instantaneous launch windows once they begin fueling. At that point, after fueling has begun, they pretty much are stuck, with that. So with that T0, and then they would have to reset and refuel if they're going for another attempt, which they can recycle. But once the fuel is in the vehicle, they really are pretty well connected to that T0 time. And it's all automated, by the way. Their entire launch sequence, once they hit go, it's automatic right now. Everything, the fuel up, everything is automated. The only thing SpaceX and everything has to do, they have to monitor everything manually with their eyeballs. Probably have a hand or two or three over like a backup, like abort button if something is out of order. Really, actually, they don't even have that probably. But really, it's all automated. And yeah, so they're pretty much targeting the time that you see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. What's the best for streaming video 1080p? Chris, you jokester. David, and thanks, Chris. David, make sure to drink some water. You're right, I do have water right here. I probably should do that. Thanks for the great work. If the center core lands successfully on the drone ship, how do they secure it for the trip home so it doesn't topple over? That's a great question, David, because they didn't do that for about the first year or two, probably about 2 years of them landing boosters. They would just ship it home, and sometimes the waves would, make sure and check out that video, how not to land an orbital rocket, or whatever SpaceX called it, where you see the booster dancing around on the deck because it landed and one of the legs got bent up, because they do have what's called a crush core, like a maximum like dropout, and after that it starts actually bending the legs on purpose to absorb some of the the landing. And so one of the legs is like crooked, and so the vehicle's like toppling around on the deck of the launch pad, and it's just plain nutty. And after they'd try to secure it, back in the day, they'd try to secure it manually, like strap it down and do all these crazy things, and that puts people at risk. So then they developed a thing that's now called the Octograbber, and it's this little robot that's inside a garage on the drone ship, and it's behind a flame-proof like blast shield, basically, in a garage. Once the vehicle's safed, they open the garage door and they drive it over. So talk about robotics club thing. Can you imagine being the people that got to build a robot that goes and drives under a rocket and grabs onto it and holds it down, so now it lowers its center of gravity and secures it even more. And it's basically just a big heavy robot that really just helps it stay on the deck, is all it does. So yeah, that's how they do it, and it's crazy. It's a really cool solution. I love that SpaceX does that kind of stuff. It's the type of thing where someone might just be, you know what, we got it, people will just go up there and secure it. And they're like, you know what? Why don't we just build a robot and hold it down? Same with like when they're trying to catch the fairings. It's like, why don't we just make a boat that has a giant net and we try to catch the fairing as it falls out of the sky? Like, it's that kind of Wile E. Coyote stuff that I think makes SpaceX different and why it's so stinking fun to be a SpaceX fan. So thank you, David. Good question. Zach, thank you so much. Juan, thank you. Which of those three is the rocket? Hi from Argentina. Which of those three is the rocket? Oh yeah, that's actually a valid question. So really good question. Actually, I should probably be pointing this out. On the farthest to the left, that is the FSS, the fixed service structure. That's also where the crew access arm, because people will be going on top of a Dragon capsule from this exact, from that launch pad. Hopefully later this year, we're on top of Dragon capsule on Falcon 9. That's where people go up. People also went up the same tower to get onto the space shuttle. I think like more than half the space shuttle off from there. Yeah, that's a historic piece of gear there. And that's the crew access arm and the fixed structure, the black thing, slightly just barely to the right of that, in the middle. That's Falcon Heavy. Yes, sir. Okay, hey guys, give me 1 second to adjust something on the camera. We do have a little bit of a pink here. Was an issue with the HDMI. I did. The still alive. Okay. Okay. All right. Is it back? Do we have good stuff? Ben? Pan left again. More? I panned it pretty far. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to be switching to some things here. If you guys would stand by still for 1 second. One second. Apologize. Be right back. Just a second. That's about all. That's about all right there. I don't know if that works. Here's back. Okay. That. Okay. I will bring you guys the best coverage I can in 1 second here. Showing 700. Okay, sounds good. All right, looks like we are back and rolling. Sorry about that, everybody. I think it's actually, believe it or not, I think it was a bad HDMI cable. That's why you bring spares of everything. Who knew that you'd need a spare micro to full-size HDMI cable? We actually have, we're cranking out, this unit is somehow pushing out like 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 megs up, which is nuts. I mean, for where we are, it's not 9,000 megs, it'd be, yeah, a lot. 9 megs up, so it's actually not the connection issue. It's physically a connection, a cable failing. What are the odds? Ben, does that look better from your end? All right, sounds good. Okay, so, where are we? Okay. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get caught up. Oh, we are definitely venting LOX. LOX is for sure go now. I don't know if we had that clicked off yet or not, but LOX is 100% going for sure. Let's see. Trying to figure out, wow, you guys are killing it right now. Green on LOX. All right, so, all right, here we go. That was a fun story about the Octograbber. All right, so Juan, which of those three is the rocket? Yeah, that's what we talked about. Gabriel wants to know, is it possible for non-American citizens to watch a launch from where you are standing right now? Yes, there's actually a few foreign nationals right here. You do have to apply earlier for missions as credentialed media. And again, if it's a NASA mission where they're selling Causeway tickets, then you actually can be here from anywhere around the world. So yeah, good question, Gabriel, and thank you very much. Kumquat Lord wants to know, just another request to add membership option here on YouTube because you can link a member's account to your exclusive Discord. Yes, I need to figure out how to do that. Thank you for reminding me. Great idea. So yeah, thank you, Kumquat Lord. Counter Tony, rivaling the Rocket MFRS with the production quality here. Thank you. The manufacturers, I just realized what that is. Any chance for inches / centimeters size guides for those tasty t-shirts I sell? Honestly, they fit a little bit smaller than like your totally standard Hanes t-shirt. They're going to be fitted like an American Apparel shirt. So they're a little bit more fitted. So for me, I'm 180 pounds. I don't know what that is. Like, what is that? 90 kilograms basically, and I'm just shy of 6 foot, so I don't know, some number of meters, 1.8 or something meters tall, and I wear a large. So does that help? I have no idea the size guides, but these shirts are, hey guys, I did fix it. You were saying yesterday I forgot to have the hoodie for sale. I do have these shirts and hoodies available, $5 off today because of Falcon Heavy, and tomorrow on my web store, everydayastronaut.com/shop, or click on the shop button. You'll be directed there. And you can type in all capital letters, all one word, Falcon Heavy, and you can rock this shirt or this hoodie, $5 off today and tomorrow. So yeah, so thank you. Julian, wish you a nice launch day. Everybody, you guys, happy launch day. It is actually a gorgeous day for launch. David R. Tim, thanks for doing this. Yesterday we were at Jetty Park, and today we're on the A1A Causeway right before Cape Canaveral. Good. Have you seen a launch from any of these locations, David? Unfortunately, I caught the bug when I first got press credentialed, so I have never actually seen a launch from anywhere but the press site or on site here. I haven't, but I know that the A1A is an awesome place to view. So is like Playa Linda Beach. So is Exploration Tower. There's a couple really cool places. Jetty Park's always a classic. I do have if you are coming out to Florida and you want to catch a launch, Everyday Astronaut, or search on Google actually, where to view a rocket launch in Florida, and you'll find my guide on literally most of the viewing locations with pictures from those locations. Hopefully that helps you figure out what you need to do leading up to launch. So yeah, good luck with today's launch. Hopefully it stays. I can't imagine it changing because it is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and we are, we're like 20 minutes away. That is awesome. Ron, you're welcome. Thank you. Silver Video, you should order this Scion, a solar electrical vehicle of Sonos Motors. Then you could stay there for weeks. I don't quite get why solar... Oh, I could just like keep driving around on solar power. Not a bad idea. Or I think there was actually... Are you talking about the Scion that had a little solar roof? If so, that thing produced like 1 kilowatt hour a day or something, so not even enough to like get you more than like 3 miles of range in the perfect condition. It could run like the air conditioning in the radio maybe, or like some climate control in the radio. But really solar power on a passenger vehicle. We talk about that in our podcast, Our Ludicrous Future. I'm in that with Ben Solons from Teslanomics on YouTube and Joe Scott from Answers with Joe. And we talk a lot about like vehicles like that, futurist things, and I talk rockets, they talk cars, and we talk like all that type of stuff. So yeah, that is an interesting idea. Thank you, by the way. And Harvard, wow, I probably said that totally wrong, but thank you. Wow, love your channel. We go back to Boca Chica in the near future. Thank you. First off, thank you. Honestly, that really, really means a lot. I do plan to go back to Boca Chica. I want to see that thing fly for the first time, when it actually flies. The hops are probably going to be pretty frequent and pretty boring, but once that thing comes untethered and starts properly flying around, that will be the weirdest thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I do have a video about why SpaceX's newest rocket won't ever go to space. That's what I'm talking about, is the Star Hopper. That is a rocket that is being developed right on the edge, the very southern tip of Texas, right on the edge of the United States and Mexico. SpaceX is building a 9-meter wide, so 30 feet wide, 8-story tall water tower thing. It's just like it's made out of steel. It was literally built by a water tower company. And they stuck their brand new Raptor engine up on it, which is more than twice as powerful. Each one of those engines is more powerful than 2 Merlin engines. And they're practicing hopping and doing that. So I went down to Boca Chica a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago or so, to see it in person. And I got to see a fuel up test, which was kind of uneventful, but at least it worked and it was cool. And just seeing it in person is amazing. So I will go back down there in the near future, especially with like something like this live streaming backpack solution, which is kicking butt. So thank you so much. That really means a lot. Alex, Tim, we are going to arrive about 15 minutes before launch. Any recommendations for viewing areas that we can still get into? Alex, I have no idea at this point. The A1A highway is probably your best choice. Luckily, a lot of tourists and a lot of people are gone now since it got scrubbed so many times. Not so many times, it really got scrubbed from Sunday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, now today. So a lot of the people that did fly in for launch, unfortunately, are not here. But that does make it so traffic is a lot easier. Yeah, go on the A1A and get a good view.
I know the spot.
Yeah, where's the best spot?
Across the street from El Leoncito Cuban restaurant.
Ooh, across the street from El Leoncito. It's in Titusville, and it's spelled kind of like lions, like little lion, if you know Spanish. Spanish, it's, yeah, El Leoncito. And it's on the A1A. Right across from there is a beautiful park with a really good view.
12 miles to 39A with an unobstructed view.
12 miles to 39A. Vehicle is on internal power, which is good news, guys. That's very good news. So yeah, vehicle's on internal power. Could that be right? I thought that was like T-minus 5 minutes.
I don't know.
All right. The SpaceX stream is showing it, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sweet. That's good news. That means the vehicles, so they have it plugged in, literally like plugged in with umbilicals. And the rocket has obviously its own internal power. And when it transfers over and is running entirely on internal power, that's a good sign that they're totally powered up and ready to launch. So guys, I'm finally getting really excited. To be honest, I've kind of been like, worrying about all this stuff, worrying about the pad cameras that I have out there and just all the stuff. And when it gets this close, now that we're T-minus, what are we, like 15 minutes-ish? Yeah, this is really exciting. So, and so thank you, Alex, good luck. Gary, thank you. Technical Fool, F for Bear Sheet. I know, unfortunately, we did talk about that earlier. Dang it. But great attempt, Israel and Space IL. Christine, hi from Banana Creek Viewing Center. Thank you so much for the awesome coverage. My guys watch you from Texas all the time. Is there still a discount code for your merch? Yes, we talked about that a second ago. All capital, all one word, Falcon Heavy, $5 off this shirt and this shirt hoodie, or like this version of the hoodie. So yeah, thank you. Spencer, thanks for everything you do. Thank you very much. I'm a moron, but €1. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a moron, but Flip Van Ham. Thanks for 2 years of awesomeness on YouTube. Well, you're welcome. Thank you. I like what I do. I have a lot of fun making videos. I can't wait to get back to making videos. I spent a lot of time reading a proper textbook about the next video I'm working on. So this, and between all the travel and taxes and just this time of year, yeah, it's been really hard for me to get a new video out, but I will be getting a new video out very, very, very soon. So Eric, thank you. Daniel, hope she flies today up here on my roof with a lawn chair. A secret from a local, go eat at Vargas Cafe. You're welcome. Best kept secret in Cape Canaveral. Well, now I know. I will probably check that out. Thank you. Plastic Pinocchio. NASA will get back to the moon by 2024 on a SpaceX rocket. Enough with the endless delays. Shady lobbying and over budget. I'm looking at you. That is Plastic Pinocchio's opinion. I would love if NASA really doesn't try to set up like how to get to the moon. They just say, we're getting to the moon by 2024, send us your bids. Make it happen, we'll pay you if you get there by 20, like almost Google X Prize style of like, you do it and we'll pay you with the best bids, the best, ideas for how to do it. I think that'd be awesome. Myself, I would love to see some private companies pursuing that for NASA, because NASA is talking about getting people on the moon in 5 years. So that would be amazing. Aaron, I got a free super chat. Thanks for all you do. Well, thank you, Aaron. Sean, bring back the tribal mic. Oh man, I should just let the tuft come out the top. Huntinator, what's the status on the white jacket you wore? You had a Twitter poll last launch about whether or not you would offer it. I'd love to pick one up. Huntinator, I also wore it. I have it actually with me. It's in production. It'll be in the store soon. As soon as it's in the store, I will let you guys know. It'll be, for now, limited run unless it was, guys, they're like custom hoodies, totally like hand sewn. They're like really expensive. So I am really nervous about these items in the store. They cost a lot of money and I hope they don't flop. So I hope that you guys really do like those as much as you said you do like them, and just keep your eye on my store. If you're not following me on Twitter, that's where like I do most of my things on Twitter. Find Everyday Astronaut, and you will see, you'll see as soon as I'll make a big stink about it, or on Instagram and stuff like that too. I'll make a big stink about it. So thanks. George, love the channel. Thank you. Colbin, thank you. Eric, good. Meet and greet while in Florida. Drinks on me. Eric, I have had 2 meet and greets already, actually. And I will be here on Saturday for Yuri's Night. Yuri's Night is a big space party that is actually out this year. Well, it's anywhere around the world, typically within about a week of April 12th, the anniversary of Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space. I will be at Yuri's Night right at Kennedy Space Center, which I can see with my eyes from here, I think. I don't know if no, that's not it. I don't know. I'll be at the Visitor Center, the Atlantis building, on Saturday, so in 2 days. It is right there. Sweet. Oh yeah. So I will be there. So if you want to come meet me, go to Yuri's Night this year in Florida. The LA had it last Saturday. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the LA Yuri's Night. I was busy getting down here for this. But I will be at Florida's Yuri's Night. If you are in the area, get your tickets. I think yurisnight.net or something. yurisnightla.net. Just Google search Yuri's Night. It's actually Space Coast Yuri's Night is what they call it. So Google it and you'll find it. And yeah. That's that. Then you can come say hi. Power Scissor, thank you. Finex, salutations. Thank you very much, Finex. Randall, love my channel and my merch. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting both of that. Solo Lop, hello Tim from Nova Scotia. With Falcon Super Heavy and Starship on the horizon. We just call it Super Heavy. It's not Falcon anymore. Falcon family is the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. So just. The SpaceX live stream is reporting that they are attempting fairing recovery, which will be, I don't know how they plan to do that. I'm really curious about that because they don't have nets on the boats. What if they decked out those other boats with like expandable nets? So they will be doing it from like water. So they've had really good luck soft touching down fairings. The fairings with the giant nose cone on top of the rocket. And those things are really expensive. They're like $5 million. They're made like really high, they're aerospace grade materials. They're carbon fiber. You can fit a school bus inside them. They're huge. They're normally totally discarded. SpaceX started putting parafoil parachutes basically inside. They control them as they re-enter from space, and then they land them. They've been trying to land them on top of a boat that has a giant net, and they've been unsuccessful to do so far. But that being said, they are really, really strongly working on it to recover them just from the water. So they've made the fairings more waterproof. They splash the fairings down, and then they're going to snag them out of the water. So it sounds like they're trying to recover both halves using 2 different ships potentially, or with 1 ship. We'll have to see if we get updates on that. That'll be really cool. But Sololop says, well, with Starship and Super Heavy on the horizon, do I think SLS is too little too late? Every time we hear of a delay with SLS, it gets more and more too late. I think if SLS had gone online in its original time frame, I honestly think it probably would have been very, very relevant at the time. But now we are officially go for launch, everybody. Yes. All right. But now with more and more vehicles coming online that can do what SLS is doing, it's becoming too little too late. And I think especially with Starship and Super Heavy, I mean, that thing, if it can launch for $100 million, doing what would cost 10 times that on the SLS and be just as capable and fully reusable, it's game over. So if SLS wants to fly, they got to really get a fire under their butt and get that thing done ASAP. So let's see. Hello from so Ocean, thank you. Cass, thank you. Marcus, did Elon get you press credentials? Yes, he did. I actually forgot to fill out press credentials for Falcon Heavy. I just went on Twitter. I wasn't asking anyone for anything. I just wanted to see if anyone had any unique vantage points, like, you know, I don't know, one of these like business owners that has like a tower over here or something. I was just hoping to find a cool view to do this live stream. So I just said, hey, does anyone have any cool vantage points? Someone retweeted that, and Elon responded, I'll take care of it. 5 minutes later, I got a phone call saying I'm good to go. And I did apply. I just applied like way too late. So I got taken care of, which was awesome. So thank you, Mr. Musk and SpaceX and NASA for pushing that through. Let's see. Ocean Breeze. Hey Tim, love your dedication. Quick question: why is specific impulse measured in seconds? It's literally measured in how long can 1 pound or I think it's a pound of fuel. How long can you push? Or it's like how long can you push a certain amount for using a certain amount of fuel? So it's literally measured in seconds, and how long can you burn that amount of fuel for, pushing X amount or whatever it is. So it's literally a measure of how long you can burn fuel. So if you have a really efficient engine, it can sip through X amount of fuel pretty slowly, and it can burn for 450 seconds. If you have an inefficient engine, it'll burn through that same amount of fuel inefficiently, maybe as low as, you know, cold gas thrusters are only like 70 seconds or something. So they're very inefficient. So you literally measure the amount of time that the vehicle can use X amount of fuel to do that, which is crazy. That's why. I'll do a video about that soon. Frederick, thank you, Base Banger. And most rockets burn as clean as they can, and they don't even make a fraction of the total, and we may be able to get methane from landfills and cows. That's very true, Base Bangers. Yes, absolutely right. And thank you, Aaron. What do you think the odds are of NASA getting ULA upper stage and a Falcon Heavy to go to the moon over SLS? Funding for SLS is drying up. That is there's been talks about some weird Frankenstein rocket where you take a Falcon Heavy, you'd put a Delta cryogenic upper stage, which is basically like what's on a Delta 4, and it's what was going to be launching on Block 1 of the SLS rocket, the Space Launch System that NASA's developing. And putting that on top of a Falcon Heavy, so there'd actually be like 3 stages. It'd be really weird because it'd actually get wider. It'd go 5 meters wide, and the vehicle's core is 3.7 meters wide. So it'd taper out, have this entire 3rd stage on top of it. And on top of that, there'd be an exploration service module and the Orion capsule, which those 2 things weigh like 50 tons. It would be plain bonkers. They'd be pushing the Falcon Heavy to the absolute limits to do that kind of mission profile. Like absolute limits. It would be screaming and non-recoverable. That would be amazing to see. A part of me, because they're trying to get the EM1 mission, the exploration mission, to orbit around the moon. They're trying to get that done for next year, and there's no way SLS will be ready by then. It'd be even hard to develop and get Falcon Heavy capable of something like that by next year. But you never know. We will see. We're getting really close here, guys. I might get my gear ready. Does anyone have a handle on the actual time? Ben, where are we at for T0? Okay, let me, 4 minutes, everybody. Let me know when we get to T1. I will. Yep. That's it. All right, guys. We'll probably get back to comments here. I'll read a few more here. Aaron, I would love to see at least a serious proposal for a Delta cryogenic upper stage and the Orion capsule and service module on top of Falcon Heavy. I think that would be amazing. But who knows? We have a different administration pushing. They like the commercial launches. Jim Bridenstine, the NASA administrator, has been very fond of the commercial program, and I mean, why not? We have the Falcon Heavy. It's been doing really well for the commercial resupply missions, and DM1 recently with SpaceX, and hopefully OFT1 here soon with Boeing and ULA. You know, it's proving to work really well. So I can see why they love the commercial programs. So, okay, sounds good. Keep up the great work. Always watch your live streams. A bit of a late one in London, but it's always worth it. This one will be worth it. I mean, Falcon Heavy is just plain and simple worth it. Yeah, I can't wait. Tony Reedman, what is the max bar of BFR rocket engines, and how many engines would they? Going to be 300 bar for chamber pressure in the Raptor engine. They're getting close to that. I think they're around 280 right now for chamber pressure, so they're already breaking records. That's the highest chamber pressure of any engine ever basically tested before, and now being used especially. And there's going to be 31 of those on the Super Heavy booster. 31 of the highest chamber pressure rocket engines ever, the Raptor. That will be plain and simple nuts. So yeah, don't forget BFR, the big quote unquote Falcon rocket, is now officially called Starship, and the booster that carries the Starship is all considered the Starship, and the booster is Super Heavy, the Super Heavy booster. So, okay. Chiara, can't wait to launch. I'm with you. Thank you very much for saying hi. Florian, hey Tim, big thank you from Germany. I'll definitely come to the States for New Glenn or Starship launch. By the way, don't forget to put a little sun protection on your neck. It is ready. I know, that was from yesterday, guys. It was a lot longer day out in the sun than I thought. So I am officially a redneck. And thank you. Ryan Lewis, how long after launch do the first stage boosters land? Only like 8.5 minutes, 9 minutes. It's like very quickly the first stage boosters come back. They scream back. So thank you. Kevin, thank you. We have more. Okay. The strong back is in its initial retraction period, which is only a few degrees off, and then at T0 it'll swing back to 45 degrees. That's unique out here to the East Coast. The West Coast Vandenberg pad does not have that quick swing back feature. Guys, I'll get back to the rest of your comments. I'm going to tune in here to the launch. I'm going to stay just slightly in frame. Let me know if this is okay. We are coming up here. Okay, so I'm gonna get my cameras rolling here, guys. Okay. Okay, I think, here we go, guys. Okay, I'm gonna actually stand. No way. Well, I'm gonna start tracking it anyway here. Wow, guys. Sorry that... Oh, here comes the sound. Come on, get in focus, Dad Cam. You can do it. Yes. 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 It's not as loud as I thought it'd be, actually. I was a little closer for the first one, so I lost it here quick, guys. I'll try to reacquire signal. There it is. Condensation layer, that's why you see all that. Wow. Oh, that's so cool. Wow. I gotta kind of look with my eyes quick. That is unreal, guys. That is unbelievable. Yes. That is just plain bonkers. B157 Merlin engines. Going plane crazy. So nuts. Wow. Oh well. Hopefully we get a good clean shot of landing. We are in a good position to do so. Wow, guys. Booster sep. So the side boosters have deployed. You can kind of see, you can see them. That is amazing. Dude. Okay, booster sep's a big event. So now the side boosters are going to light up and they're going to start firing and working their way back here. Only like three or 4 miles away from me, which is scary to think about. Like right now they're targeting my head basically. I'm going to try to track them, but it's really hard to see them right now. Honestly, I have no idea where they are now. I might take this time to reset and worry about the landing. What a beautiful view. So I just want to make sure I've got a clear shot to about here will be the landing right over these people's shoulders here. So I'm going to kind of get ready for that. One second, guys. I'm going to lock it down here for 1 second. Center core. Apparently we had good stage separation there. Okay. I will re-aim it here in a second. I'm going to grab my other camera. I'll be right back, guys. Well, you probably won't notice because I am still mic'd up. Fairing separation confirmed. Okay, I'm going to bring my other camera over here. Okay, the grid fins have deployed, guys. That was awesome. That was awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get my other camera rolling here. Dang, what did you guys think of that? That was crazy. So, this is a good view from here. Man, I can't believe that. So, a little recap, guys. We had a successful launch. The booster separation has occurred, and we are now coming up on, they will be doing the re-entry burn, which we might be able to see from here. It'll be hard to kind of see, but we sure will try. Sorry, I'm still kind of repositioning my camera. I really hope they have a clean landing burn. Okay. That camera's rolling. I'm going to check up on my camera here, see if we can't track. I want to make sure I'm in focus here when I zoom into this. That's going to be the most important thing.
There it is.
Oh, we got dual. We're giving it our best. Okay, hopefully it comes back here in a second. Sorry guys, bear with me here. I hope you're seeing this here soon. I'm gonna pre-focus on Oh, there they are.
Oh God, there they are.
Wow. Oh my gosh, no way. No way. No way. That is insane. Where are they? Oh, oh, when's it gonna light? Yes. Yes. Yes, look at that. Two boosters landing. Oh, yes, that's so cool. No way. Yes, get ready for some sonic booms. Oh, yeah. 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 Yes. Oh, that is genuinely about the coolest thing that could ever have happen. That is freaking awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that is so cool. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of that? Holy cow. Wow. Wow.
I can't even do it.
Oh my word, guys.
Better than last time.
That looked so clean.
Amazing.
Dude, yes. What do you think?
That was absolutely amazing.
Woo! Well, they did it again. The dual boosters landed absolutely phenomenally. That was the coolest. That's the coolest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. When you are watching them just fall out of the sky, the velocity is insane. Like, you just see them streaking through the sky and you're thinking, there's no way those things can slow down in time. I mean, because you're not used to a 15-story tall building falling out of the freaking sky and then using engines to land. And let alone two of them. Yeah, I mean, one, sure, we've seen there. Yeah, been there, done that. But two at the same time. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's why Falcon Heavy is easily the coolest rocket you can possibly see right now. Man, that was absolutely amazing. Congratulations, SpaceX, on the landing. I'm excited to hear. I'm still listening in to see how the rest of the stream, the rest of the launch is going. Because, of course, that's great and all, but the important thing is getting that payload into space and on its way to its final destination. That's of course, what the rocket is actually for. This is just like the coolest party trick in the whole world, really. Beyond that, and it obviously saves SpaceX and hopefully eventually passes on to their customers a lot of money. So, yeah, I can see them from right here. They are working on the center core landing as we speak. Man, that was nuts. Oh, and it sounds like they may have recovered the center core this time. I guess the people at SpaceX are currently in some form of hysteria because it sounds like hopefully the center core did land. Again, this will be the longest, furthest downrange landing ever. 1,000 kilometers downrange, 600 miles downrange. That is 50% further than any landing. Center core stuck the landing. Yes. They landed the center core. They did it. 3 for 3. There we go. 90% of a heavy lift rocket just landed and is going to be reusable. Like, that is unbelievable. That is crazy. That is the coolest thing ever. Huge congratulations, SpaceX. The team, you guys out there with the Block 5 iteration of the Falcon Heavy. That is unbelievable. Yes, I think I might have to check my phone and see if I can get, man, that is so cool, guys. I can't even handle that right now. Wow. I do apologize that we had some dropouts. Look at that center core. This is going to be how high-tech of a live stream this is. This is the center core landed on the drone ship. I hope this is officially good reporting here. But yeah, how cool is that, guys? How freaking cool is that? That makes me so happy. We're probably gonna have to swing out here pretty soon. We're probably gonna get kicked up and swept away and sent back to the press site. But I wanted to just really quickly say thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry, it sounds like we dropped out. Signal literally right at liftoff. I apologize. I was still doing the absolute best I can. Hopefully it'll only improve from here. As you guys know, I like to make as many iteration changes. I'm like the SpaceX of photography video people, constantly trying to improve my product. And that, again, is thanks to my Patreon supporters. So if you guys want to help me try to get better and better gear to hopefully make this a better and better live streaming experience, please head on to patreon.com. everyday astronaut. That stuff really means the world to me. It's what allows me to do all this stuff, to upgrade gear, to hopefully make this a better product every single time I do it. You know what? AT&T and T-Mobile weren't even being used. That's probably why those modems weren't even kicked on. So, whoops, sorry everybody. Apparently I had some problems. I'll still learn how to use this backpack unit a little bit better, guys. I apologize, but it looks like now it's back and it's better. Just in time for me to basically say goodbye. If you're still here, which touche to you, I guess, I mean, why wouldn't you be? That be right back screen, That's got to be pretty good. I did have people, am I like in the shadow of that one pole? Yes, I am. I did have people say that they want me to try to get a desktop background of that. I'll make that happen. I'll probably get it out to my Discord channel later tonight or something, and then maybe I'll stick it up on Twitter after that. Anyway, guys, we're getting packed up here. We got to head back. Again, I wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for the great questions. Thank you for those of you that did super chat. And I'm sorry if I didn't have time to read your questions. I will, again, guys, continue to make a better product for you guys. Hopefully one that doesn't drop out ever. I know it's like a big, tall ask. But thank you again for tuning in. Thanks to my Patreon supporters, patreon.com/everydayastronaut. And don't forget, this shirt is on sale, $5 off today and tomorrow. On everydayastronaut.com/shop, including the hoodie is $5 off as well. Everydayastronaut.com/shop. This shirt, $5 off, and use coupon code Falcon Heavy, all one word, all capital letters. You will find it there. So, yeah, good job again. That was awesome. I can't wait. I've got really good footage for my A6500 that I'm going to slow down to 120 of the boosters landing, and it is unbelievable. I will get that out to you right now. So stand by, get on Twitter, find Everyday Astronaut on Twitter. I'll put it there. I'll probably put it up on Instagram too. So yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see it. I just checked out the footage. It's awesome. So I'm gonna get that wrapped up. So thank you for tuning in. That's gonna do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for everyday people. Bye, everybody.